Okay, so in this little lesson, we're calculating how much someone's going to pay for parking. So first of all, they want us to create a scanner object. I'm going to call mine my input. And then we're going to ask them how many hours they parked. So I'm just going to literally copy and paste that. System.out.println. How many hours have you parked? And then let's say an integer called hours is going to equal my input.nextInt. And then a double is going to be cost, which is going to equal the hours times 3.5. And then we need an if statement. If the cost is greater than 20, then I want to do something. If the cost is greater than 20, then I want the cost to be equal to 20. And then I want to format something like this. System.out.println in quotes this, except for after the $, we're going to put the cost. So the only thing I don't see is it says the number of hours. So I'm assuming that the hours are going to be an integer because they haven't indicated otherwise. So if we run the code, and if I parked for 1 hour, that should be $3.50. What other examples did they use? 10 hours should be $20. 2 hours should be $7. So 10 hours would be 35, but that's going to get chopped down to 20. And 2 hours at $3.50 an hour should be 7. So I think that's going to handle everything that we need for that little section. Okay. Okay, so in this example, we're going to ask the user what kind of drink they want and how many teaspoons of sugar. And they've already created the scanner object for us. So first a question about the drink. System.out.println. And what do you want to drink? And then in a string called, I'm going to call it drink name, we're going to say input.nextLine. Okay, and it says it's helpful to list the steps that you need to take and then write code. I'm not going to do that because I'm kind of just doing a short, quick video. The next thing we're supposed to ask is, how many teaspoons of sugar do you want? So we're going to kind of repeat these two lines. How many teaspoons of sugar do you want? Oops. How many teaspoons of sugar do you want? Goes right here. And this time, this is going to be an int, and I'm going to say drink sugar, and I'm going to say input next int. So then to confirm their drink, we're going to say system.out.println, confirming your order. You wanted, confirming your order you wanted, and then system.out.println drink name. So that should work so far. We haven't done anything with the teaspoons yet, but just to make sure I don't have any missing semicolons or anything yet. Running the code. What kind of drink do you want? A latte. How many teaspoons of sugar? 0. Confirm your order. You wanted latte. So I think so far this is working okay. Now, when they have sugar, we're going to print the drink name with sugar. So let's do this. Let's delete the line part of this and just print the drink name. And then we're going to do an if statement. If drink sugar is greater than 0, then that means the drink has sugar in it. And we want to also print out system.out.print. We're going to print this space and then with sugar and then a semicolon. And then just to finish this all off, let's do a system.out.print line just to move on to the next line. So we got, let's see if we can match this example here by running our code. What do you want to drink? I'm going to say espresso. How many teaspoons of sugar do you want? 47. And it says confirming your order, you wanted espresso with sugar. So I think that's everything that we want to have happen. Just a really simple if statement. So when they input 0 for the amount of sugar, then this will just display the drink name. Well, regardless, it's going to display the drink name. But if they have sugar that's greater than 0, then it's also going to print with sugar. And by changing this from a print line to a print, we stay on that same line. So first the word espresso is printed, or whatever the name of the drink is, and then the space and with sugar, and then print line to move down to the next line. So that looks like that's going to be it for that little lesson. And on to the next one on cooking. Okay, so on this cooking class, we're going to choose a random number between 0 and 60 for the number of seconds that represent how many seconds a roll will be microwaved. And if it's less than or equal to 20 seconds, then we'll say perfect cooking time. If it's greater than 20 seconds, we're going to say it catches fire. So first, let's remember how to do a random number. So I'm going to start off with a double. Double seconds equals math.random, and then system.out.println seconds. So let's see what that prints out. So the random method of the math class always returns a random number from 0 to 1. So if we want that to be a random number from 0 to 60, we're going to have to multiply by 60. So now, but it will never equal 60 if we do this, because the random number is always from 0 to 1, but not including 0 and not including 1. So now this will be a number of seconds that will be, could possibly be 0, but will never be 60. So let's make this an int, and let's cast our mathematical operation over here as an integer. So let's go ahead and take that random number, multiply it by 60, whatever we get, turn that into a integer. And I would have to do this a bunch of times for you to prove it to you, but you're never going to get 60 this way because the random number will always be less than 1. So therefore, when you multiply 60, it'll always be less than 60. And remember, when we cast it as an integer, it kind of gets chopped off. So the only way we can get a random integer from between 0 and 60 is to make this 61. Then when we chop off, it'll always be something between 0 and 60. If we wanted a number between 1 and 60, then we would still multiply by 60, and then we would add 1 to it if we wanted a number between 1 and 60. But if we want a number from 0 to 60, we're going to multiply by 61. So I printed out the number of seconds just to make sure things were working, but that's not really necessary. Well, I guess it is. Microwaving for 21 seconds. So let's copy that. So right here in quotes, microwaving for, but not for 21 seconds, for seconds. Whatever our variable seconds is, microwaving for seconds. So now we're making a sentence out of our number of seconds. Microwaving for 20 seconds, microwaving for 52 seconds, and so on. And they wanted that to be down here, so just for jollies, I'll put that down here. And then use two if statements. So the first thing they said is if it's less than or equal to 20. So if seconds is less than or equal to 20, then we want to print out something about the time being perfect. System.out.println, perfect cooking time. System.out.println, perfect cooking time. And then another if statement, if the seconds is greater than 20, then we're going to print out something about it catching on fire. So now, instead of saying perfect cooking time, we're going to say your roll will catch fire. Okay, so we're going to say how many seconds we're cooking for, and then either it's going to catch fire or cooking time. Let's see how this works. Microwaving for 11 seconds, perfect cooking time because that was less than or equal to 20. Microwaving for 36 seconds, your roll will catch fire because that's greater than 20. I was kind of hoping we'd get one that was exactly 20. So any number less than or equal to 20, it should say perfect cooking time. And anything greater than 20, it should say your roll will catch fire. So I think that's all working fine there. On to the next piece of this lesson for ratings. Okay, so we have this rating class or rater class that's representing rating for different companies, and it has to be on a scale of 1 to 5. The two-string representation changes based on how well the company is rated. So let's go over here to the rater class, and they've already got the instance variables. Notice that the rating has to be a number between 1 and 5. And the two-string method, we're going to have 3 different if statements. First of all, if the rating is less than 2, then what we want to return is this string here. Not recommended company, Tina's Tires. Okay, so if the rating. Let me expand this a little bit. So the rating is in the variable called rating. So we're going to say if rating is less than 2, then we're going to return this string, not recommended company, except the company is not always going to be called Tina's Tires. We have the name of the company stored in this name variable that's a string. So I can say not recommended company, and then a plus sign, and then name. So we can just return that. Oh, I don't like these quotations. Just cleaning up these quotations for a second, sorry. Okay, now, so that's what we're going to display if the rating is less than 2. And since this is a return statement, once we return this value, this method toString is done. So none of the other code will even be looked at if the rating is less than 2. So if it's not less than 2, then let's check if it's greater than 3.5. If it's greater than 3.5, then we want the string to be Gold Star Company, and a space, and then the name of the company. Okay, now if it's not less than 2, and it's not greater than 5, then that means it's somewhere, the rating is somewhere in between 2 and 3.5. And then we can just return this string that says well-rated company, space, and then the name of the company. So the toString method, I believe, has been implemented correctly. Returns a string. I think we're good there. The other method that we need to fill in is set rating. So we have a method called getRating, which just returns whatever the rating is. But here's one called setRating, which should give us a new rating. However, we only want to set the rating to the new rating if the new rating is 5 or less. So if the new rating is less than or equal to 5, then we can say that our instance variable called rating is equal to new rating. Otherwise, if it's not less than or equal to 5, then we're not going to update the rating because it's not a legal rating. So let's see how this works. And remember our code over here in the tester looks like this. So we create a new rater for Junior Cookery, and the rating is 2. So the rating is 2, and it's a well-rated company called Junior Cookery. And then we're changing the rating to a 4.5. So this rater object called JRS for juniors, now we're changing the rating or setting the rating to 4.5. So now the rating's at 4.5, and it's saying that it's a Gold Star company. And then if we try setting the rating to 100, it still says the rating is 4.5 because we're not allowed to set it at something greater than 100. And then if we set the rating to 1, that's less than 2, and it's going to say not recommended company. So I think we've got all of those working correctly. Let's see if we get any glitches. No, that's all okay. I thought we were going to have to do one more thing in here. I thought we were going to have to put an if statement like this up here because it's possible that when someone creates a rater object, it's possible that they give a rating that's greater than 5. So just for completeness, we might have had to do an if statement in the constructor. If they try to construct with a rating that's greater than 5, we would just make the rating equal to 5. So we could even put something like that in here, like as a fail-safe precaution. If rating is greater than 5, then make the rating equal to 5. That way we're guaranteed that the rating will never be greater than 5. If they try to set it here greater than 5, we're going to change it to 5. If they try to give it a new rating that's greater than 5, we're not even going to change it at all. So that it ran fine without that, but that's just a little extra line of code to make sure no one can create a rater object to begin with a rating greater than 5. Okay, so that's it for 3.2.